1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Drew James here from LearnGuitarinLondon.com. I hope you're having a fantastic day. What I've got here is a fantastic finger workout. It's Message in a Bottle by Sting and the Police. Now, it's terrific use of power chords and extending that pinky out. It's a really good workout for you intermediate players. So fun riff, really pushing those muscles on the fingers. Let's start learning how to play it. Let's look at that riff slowly. Okay, so we're starting on fret 4 on the A string, and we're going to take our index finger and put that there. We're going to also take our ring finger and put it down on fret 6 on the D string. If you don't know the names of the strings, E, A, D, G, B, E, Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. Now this is making a power chord, or you might sometimes see it written as a letter and a 5 written after it. So this is a C sharp 5, this first chord, because this is C sharp, 1 string down and 2 frets across, always gives us the 5 on most of the strings apart from the B, but that's another story. So what the first sort of optimizational tip I've got for this is you don't need to be like on your tips of your fingers. You can lay your fingers very flat and loosey-goosey. You don't need to all be up like this, so keep it chilled. And your thumb needs to be round the neck and pushing forwards a little bit because we're going to be doing some insane stretches for this. So you're going to take that 4, give it a pick, and then the 6 on the D and give that a pick. And then the pinky, you're going to stretch it out as best you can to play 8 on the G string. So we're going linear down the strings, A, D, G. Now notice I'm keeping all these fingers held down as I do it. Notice I'm not being too perfectionist about it. You can see my ring fingers slightly touching the marker, but it doesn't matter because the tone is clear. If I was doing this, not so good, but tone's pretty clear. Notice that the pinky as well, I'm not on the tip of the pinky finger, I'm sort of laying down. You can see the line on my callus. It's not on my callus, it's way below. So I'm basically fretting much lower rather than on the tips of my callus, on my calluses themselves. It's more below the calluses. Okay, so if you can keep that all held down with these fingers, then fantastic. If you can't, then it doesn't matter, just lift up, okay? But your goal should be to keep them all held down one day. It's a great stretch workout for you intermediate players out there. Then we're going to repeat the same sequence of strings and pick, but on fret 5 on the A string, and then fret 7 on the E string, sorry, and fret 7 on the A, and pinky is on fret 9. So it's all the same distance. There's always this kind of 1 fret space between them. Fret 9 on the D. Once again, doing the same principle, laying the fingers flat, keeping them stretched out. So we're always making power chords, but we're adding in this extra note. Okay, sounds pretty good like that. Anyway, we're then going to move down to fret 2. And this time, we're going to be back on the A string. So fret 2 on the A string, ring finger on fret 4 on the D, and pinky also, but this time not doing a silly stretch, tucked underneath on fret 4 on the G. So when you learn this, this will feel like a break because you're not doing a stupid stretch anymore. So that's 2, 4, 4. Then go to the string above, thickest string, and go 2, 4. So there's always this theme of 1 string down, 2 frets across, index on 2, ring on 4. And then pinky is going to play 6 on the D string, like we're normally doing that stretch chord. We're going to play that 6, and we're going to keep the pressure down and slide the note to fret 7. So keep the pressure down and make sure that when you get there to 7, it's still ringing rather than like that short. So that is. If I take it back a chord to this B5, putting it all together. Okay, now the next thing to understand about this, obviously once you've done that part, it then just goes round in a circle. But the next thing to understand is how can we get the speed up? So a few little bits of advice for this. I prefer using a plectrum for this, although you can use your fingers. I'm just grabbing so much of the plectrum and I'm only showing a very tiny, barely even sort of 20 millimeters of plectrum along the top there, okay? So really keeping close. I like to put my little finger on the body of the guitar to keep me close and tight into the strings. And then it's just a case of speed training. So speed training means you take your metronome and you'd be starting at, so the goal for this one, I believe, yeah, it's 150. So you might be, you start at whatever speed, you can play it slow and clean up. So you have to be able to play it accurately and cleanly. And then you start just training yourself up by 10 to 20 BPM. Okay, and a little more. So I've now just gone up by 40 just to illustrate the point really more than anything else. So this is now 140. And the speed you need is 150. However, my advice would be to go past to 160, 170. Bit harder to do, but to your breaking point, so you can physically no longer play the riff, and then back down by 10 BPM increments. So 150 will feel easy, and also if you go backwards, even if you can't get to 150 initially and that's your breaking point, still go backwards, and then you'll find that if you go back to 20 BPM faster than when you started, that will feel a lot easier because of that process. Rinse and repeat the process and you will hit 150 BPM and get this song sounding great. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you for another lesson.